Start recording. Hello, everybody. It is October 5th, week 6, Tuesday, section 3. We just got done with our critiques and presentations. I'm seeing lovely, lovely work. Congratulations to all of you. Hopefully I'll have all these graded before midterms by next week. I'm going to do a bunch of grading tomorrow. I do have office hours, not tomorrow, what day is today? Tuesday, yeah, tomorrow. Office hours tomorrow starting at 2 p.m. I will be on campus. Shoot me a text or an email if you have any questions about anything. We are going to do our Photoshop intro properly, and I'm going to talk about Project 3 and the classwork that we're going to be doing for today. So I'm going to open my lab folder, and we are going to download the week 6 here, Photoshop 1 files, layers, selection, Pantone, text effects, and I'm going to work through these in class today, and then we're going to send you home with this homework, which is just kind of like a practice mood board, but it's going to be a trend board. Trend boards are a lot easier because we're much more flexible with the photos. I'm not going to require you do too much with this as long as you just get your titles in there and you have some pictures and you save it. The correct size, the correct DPI, and as a PDF, and get that combined with all 4 of these files. All right, so let's get started on that. There is also a Spark presentation this week where we just kind of go over reviewing. I talked about this during lecture about how Illustrator is all vectors and we get those smooth lines when we scale in or out. You're ready for production. Whereas Photoshop, you have to have the correct resolution for your end, your audience, depending on whether you're doing it for the web or you're doing it for print. May require different resolutions, or else you may get this kind of pixelated stuff. But if you do the resolution correctly, everything should be fine. Just a review, we have DPI and PPI. DPI refers to dots per inch, like on a printer. We have how many ink dots per inch, versus on a computer we have pixels, these little squares on our screens. Here's just a little intro of what resolution is. You know, the more pixels, the more squares you have, the clearer the image, right? And anything on a screen, the internet, your phone, most images are at 72 dots per inch, which is very small, which is why even though we look at it on our computer screen, it's nice and big. If we go to print it out, it comes out like 75% smaller. Textile prints are anywhere between 150 to 300 DPI, and photographic quality, the resolution of the real world is 300 DPI. So we will be using 300 DPI for everything we do in Photoshop. I'm going to get you started on our homework here, just so you can get a head start on that. So let me close this here. This was from lecture, I guess. That looks like it's from lecture 2. All right, so I'm going to go to File, and you'll see at the top we have a lot of the similar, all the Adobe programs have very similar drop-downs. We always have a window, we always have a view, and a help, and a file and edit. And then it changes here depending on what kind of app you're using. First thing we're going to do, just like in Illustrator, we're going to do a few things. I'm going to make sure we're in the correct workspace. We have no Essentials Classic this time, it's just Essentials. So I'm going to reset my Essentials here. And then I'm going to create a new file. And this is going to be for our homework. So I'm going to go over here to Print. And when you do print, it automatically chooses 300 DPI. So we don't have to mess with that. I'm going to go here into CMYK mode, because this is the color mode for printing in the real world. And instead of 11 by 8.5, I'm going to do 11 by 14. And that is a portrait. If you want to go landscape, you can just hit the landscape button, or portrait, one of these two, to get it to orient the way that you'd like. And the title here will go last name trend board. And then over here, very similar to Illustrator, we have property panels. Oftentimes when we select an object, you can see the properties. Right now the canvas is selected, so you can see my width and my height, my color mode. And all this information is over here as well. You can get to a lot of the same properties that you see here. This is just a visual representation, and these are like drop downs. This is, again, here's our control panel, which changes depending on which object or layer we have selected. These are our selection tools. We have a move tool. If we were to draw, an object here and grab my move tool here, I can move it. But as you can see, I can't scale it like an Illustrator. Illustrator, whenever you touched an object, it automatically gave you these transformation handles. In Photoshop, you have to go to a free transform, which is Control T on a PC is a Command T on a Mac, and that will give you your transformation handles. I know a couple of you out there were texting me earlier wondering why they couldn't get their transformation handles to show up. Generally, whenever you have an object, you have to look at your layer panel here and make sure. The way Photoshop is, it doesn't always automatically select the layer you are working on. Usually you have to go into the layer panel and manually click which layer you want to edit. There is something here. When I have my move tool selected, you should be able to see this in your control panel. It's something called auto select, and by default in the past, auto select was not on. We had to go in and with our layer panel select the layer we wanted to use. But if you turn this on right now, no matter what we touch, so if I were to have a few different layers here. All right, so I have two layers. I have my circle on top of my square. See this? And now you can see it's automatically changing which layer depending on what I click. And that happens when you turn auto select on. So if that's convenient for you, go ahead and turn that on. Some people don't like that, so you have the option to turn it off when you're doing a lot of detailed work. Say you're in here trying to do something. You don't want it switching back and forth. You can just turn that off. All right, so we have marquee tools here, and if you click and hold it, you have different shapes. And these are just ways to select areas here. So if I select my ellipse tool, can I cut that out? I can't, because these are vector drawings here. See, when you see a little vector thumbnail, that means this shape here is a vector shape. And vector shapes mean I can change these without having any kind of consequence to the resolution. If I were to, and as you can see, if I try to select something out of here, I can't. If I grab my move tool and grab this, it just moves that one layer. However, if I were to take this ellipse here and do something called rasterize it, because this is a vector object like an Illustrator. If I right-click on this layer and say rasterize, that little vector thumbnail goes away, and this becomes a pixel drawing. This one too. If I do this one and go rasterize, now these are both pixel layers, right? If I were to grab a selection here and do that, watch what happens when I grab my move tool. I can take pieces off. Let me show that to you again. All right, so here's my selection tool, and you have all different shapes here. If I grab a circle and draw a circle like this on top of a raster image, and then grab my move tool, I can pull this off without doing a copy and paste. The only problem is this is now one layer, so if I turn this layer on and off, it's one layer. So if I were to move this, if I select this layer and hit move, both objects move together. I can't move, oh wait, this is selected. I can move it and select. If it's not selected, it's just one layer like this. Now, if I wanted to grab both of these layers, so you'll notice that, here we go. We have two raster images here. If I select both of these images, like hold my control key down, command key if you have a Mac, I have two layers selected at the same time, and I grab a selection tool and then a move tool. Look at that, nothing's happening. All right, let me see if I can copy this. Edit, copy merged. Is that what that is? What happens if I do a copy and then a paste? I just get that one shape. All right, so if I grab both these layers here and I do a copy merged, Oops. What will happen? Let's take a look. These are advanced techniques. I shouldn't be showing you this. Copy merged and then paste. I hit paste. Look, now I have two colors here. Let me show you that again. All right. Copy merged. If I did a copy merged, I think copy merged, and then I couldn't pull these out because they're connected. But if I do a copy merged, and then I do a paste, there's my two shapes right there. Boom. All right. So selection tools. You can do a lasso tool. You can just draw, you know, a shape that you like. So I tried to copy this out. It says it's empty. I can't do it. The reason that is because I have layer 1 selected, which is this. This object right here is layer 1, right? And I tried to copy this. I couldn't because I'm on the wrong layer. Remember that whole layer thing? So I have to go down and select the layer I want to copy from, and then you can see how that worked. I copied it from underneath this layer. Oh, that's kind of interesting. All right, well, I don't want to get too far into that. The selection tools, this is a copy tool. We have paint tools. Here's our paintbrush. You can adjust the size of your paintbrush with your bracket tool next to the letter P key. You can make your brush bigger or smaller. You'll see me doing this a lot. Up here is the brush size slider. You can do it this way and just go and check here. It's kind of tedious. I just like doing the bracket tools. And then you can choose the edge hardness here at 100%. It's like it's a pretty clear circle. If I do, if I were to do 0% hardness, you know, we get that kind of airbrush look, right? Clone stamping. We'll do this photo editing next week. Our Illustrator tools are here. A lot of these are the same. This is a stencil tool. I showed this during lecture. If I have time, I'll go over that again. So I want to go back in time here. I'm going to open my history panel. And in Photoshop, you have a history panel. It remembers the last 20 moves you did, so I can just quickly go back here. Instead of just going Control-Z, 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 back, I can just go back to where I was in the beginning, right? New. I had nothing here. And I saved it with my name, and what we're going to do is we were going to go to WGSN and look for, we're going to do a little future strategies using the tools that we do on our in-class work. You're just going to add some photos, add a title, save it as a PDF, and then you're going to combine it with your in-class work. So your in-class work, we'll circle back to the homework. The in-class work is from this link right here, week 6, Photoshop 1 files, layer, selection, Pantone. And when you select that, you will get these files here. And I'm going to open that with Photoshop, right? All right, so you will get layers, selection, Pantone, text. All right, so let me show you this. So I'm going to open this layers one first, and I'm going to reset my workspace. The first thing I want to do, and you want to save this, of course, first. You're going to save as. You're going to go to your computer. You're going to go to your Fashion Tech folder, and you're going to go to PSD, Photoshop document, right? It says layers here. I'm just going to put my name on this one. And we're going to combine this anyway. So I'm just going to label it so we can see, so I can find this better. Because now we're starting to get lots of files that look similar. So I'm going to put a little bit of a unique title in here just so I can find it later. And this exercise is going to show us our layer panel. So in Photoshop here, the layers are over here. You can also go to Window and go select layers to pop this up if it ever vanishes on you. And you can see, even though my artwork is blank, there are a bunch of layers here. And these are the little eyeballs that you can click to toggle the visibility. And so I'm going to grab, and we did put these letters in order here. Let's see, I'm going to go A1, 2, 3. I'll put some pictures here, and if any of you have any experience with jigsaw puzzles, right? You go to grandma's house, they have an old-fashioned jigsaw puzzle. Grab your move tool here, and we're going to move our pieces in. I don't care if you have little white spaces between our spaces. You can use your arrow keys to move these around. If you want to push everything up to one corner, like upper right-hand corner, or just pick a corner to push all your pieces to. If these white spaces bother you, and then you can just push everything to the corner, the right corner.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
My computer, when I try to move the layers, says could not duplicate the layer because source and destination document are not the same.
Are you using the move tool?
I clicked the select tool.
Yeah. No, this move tool.
Let me see. Yeah, that's what I call that, the selection tool.
And then do you have this auto select turned on?
Yes, it's check marked.
Does it say layer next to it?
Yes.
All right. So now when you have your layer panel and you make these layers visible, you cannot move your layers?
So yeah, because I tried to let's see. Why is that doing that? Yeah, it won't. It says could not duplicate the layer because the source and destination document aren't the same. So I'm gonna try to reopen it again and see if that works, but I don't know.
If it says duplicate, somehow it sounds like you're trying to copy and paste.
I'm just dragging the tool. Let me try again.
Yeah. Wait. You go to your selection drop down here and say deselect.
That's not even an option. Like, it's not even highlighted.
Okay.
There we go. Deselect layers. Okay. No. Still no cigar. I don't know.
Well, restart your computer. I know a lot of us want to think we're doing something wrong, but oftentimes if you're doing it right and the computer's not responding, then your computer is just saying, hey, you haven't restarted me in a while. I need a break. So save your work, restart your computer. We'll still be here.
Are you hitting the little eyeball on the layer panel? Because when I tried to drag it, mine said that too.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the eyeball wasn't on.
Yeah, because mine did that too.
I just figured that out as you were telling me to try that.
Okay. Yeah, well, if the eyeball isn't on, how are you seeing your layers?
Well, I just now saw my layers. The eyeball wasn't there before, and I didn't even think to click it. All right.
All right. There we go. So once you have something like this, you're done. It won't take you very long. But this is just to illustrate, I think we understand this. I kind of hammered this in during Illustrator. The top layer is on top, the bottom layer is on the bottom, right? If you want, you can, here's something interesting in Photoshop. Let's say you have two pieces here, like these two Hulk pieces, and you wanted them to move together. You can figure out which two pieces they are, A2, A3, and you can take these two layers and you can hold the control key down if you have a PC, hold the command key if you have a Mac. These two layers are highlighted. You can right click and say link layers. And if you link it, the little chain appears here, and then they will move together as one image. If you want to just turn it, let's say you just want to turn it into one layer, you could right click it and just say merge layers. And then it'll just become one layer. And then you can keep on doing that if you want. Like this one is A4. I can just highlight both of these and right click and say merge. And now I have one big layer here. That's something you can do if you want to cut down on how many layers you have and you're just absolutely positive two layers belong together. Then you certainly can highlight both of them, right click and say merge. And you can turn them all into one piece, but you don't have to do that. But this is just an option. We just want to get you looking at the layer panel. We do have eyeballs over here to toggle visibility on and off of your layer. You can double click on the text here and type in your own title. And then, as I'm going to show you in a second, we do have layer effects as well. So once you have this, we're going to save this. Save as a Photoshop document in our document. I'm going to save it again. It says we already have it saved. You want to replace it? Yes. And then I want to save this as a PDF as well. So I'm going to go save as, and then I'm going to go to my my PDF file, and we'll say on Tuesday layers, we'll go Photoshop PDF, and then when I save it, it'll say we need to do this preset, smallest file size, right? And then make sure this option here is unchecked. Right now, for some reason, it's checked, and that will make my files very large, so I'm going to uncheck that. Compression, image quality should be high, good. Output should say no conversion. And then we save that PDF. And this will be the first page of our multi-page combo PDF. I have it saved, so I'm going to move on to the next one. The next one here is our, let's go to Pantone here. I think Pantone is next. This one's a little bit more challenging. Pantone, let me show you how to find the Pantone. So to draw the rectangles here, now you got to make sure, have your layer panel out when you're doing this. There are several buttons over here that look kind of like rectangles. You want to make sure you don't hit any of these fake ones or this gradient one. We want to go down here to where it says rectangle tool.
Hey.
Hey. Okay. Where it says rectangle tool.
Sorry,
and
my cats were.
yeah, I get it. I got cats. All right. So when you click on the rectangle tool here, we're going to draw 7 squares here. And I'm going to just draw 1 square right here. And after I draw 1 square here, I'm going to hit my Control T, or I'm sorry, Control T, or oops, I just screwed that up. Let me go back in time. Somehow hitting a rounded rectangle. I don't know why I have a rounded rectangle going on right there. I'm going to do a regular rectangle here. And when you lay it down, you can adjust the shape here. And I'm going to bring it in here. I might go to this edge right here. And I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to copy and paste it 6 more times. All right. So it's important that we do a copy and paste. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at my layer panel here. If I use my move tool and I hold my alt key down as option key if you have a Mac, and I drag this the second rectangle out, I will see right here it says rectangle, rectangle copy. All right. It's very important that we see a second layer pop up. Sometimes if I don't know how some students are doing it, but they end up putting like 7 rectangles on 1 layer. That won't help us when we're trying to put each rectangle in different colors. So make sure that when you do copy and paste a new rectangle here, that it is showing up on your layer panel. Now, when I do this, little guides will pop up and tell me when I've matched the distance of the other shapes in front of it. I think I was at 250. If you want to make it perfect, you can always go to View and turn Snap to, you could show your rulers, you could show your guides. Let's see. Let's turn Snap on and see what happens. So I turn Snap on, and now you see how I have a little magenta indicator saying I'm 0.25 inches between all of them. And I'm going to continue with that. 0.25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7. And you can see here I'm out of bounds, but it's no problem. I'm going to take my first I'm going to take all these rectangle layers, starting with the first one, which is on the bottom, paradoxically, and I'm going to select all my layers at once. I'm going to hold my Command key down or Control key, and I'm going to click on all my rectangles together, and then I'm going to do a free transform, edit, free transform, and now I can kind of squish this down make it fit here. And if you didn't want it to do a symmetrical squishing, you can hold your Shift key down, and it will adjust that. So now you can see I have, and then so let me show that to you one more time. So what I did was I made sure I knew which was my first rectangle right here. Then I held my control key down because I have a PC. If you have a Mac, it's a command key. And I'm clicking on all my rectangle layers. And then I'm going to do a control or command T. And I'm going to hold my shift key down and I'm going to squish it right in there. Here's my 7 squares. Now I'm going to fill these with color. So I'm going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this top rectangle. That's this one right here. I'll click on the eyeball to verify I have the correct rectangle. I probably should have started these rectangles at the bottom. That way the layers would match. The bottom layer would be on the bottom, but I started from the top because I'm a doofus. All right, so here we go. Make sure you have the right layer. And I want to choose a color off of this dress. So I'm going to grab a, over here we have a little eyedropper tool. And I can choose any color right here. I'm going to choose this orange. And if I hold my mouse button down and I drag it over my photograph, you'll see lots of color options here. This little tile, our fill tile, will change as you can see it. As I drag it over different colors, this tile gets very busy, right? I just need 7 colors, so the first one I'm going to grab is like an orange. And once I have this orange here, I'm going to use my move tool and I'm going to select this rectangle. And I can, once I know I have the right layer, I can double click on this little thumbnail and there's a color thing here, right? So I can just go and either click on the color I selected earlier, or I could just actually go and click on a new color. And you'll see where it is right here. This is the CMYK recipe for that color. I need the Pantone color though, so I'm going to switch over to color libraries, this button right here. And then I see the Pantone code. For solid uncoated, Pantone solid, I'm going to go CMYK uncoated here. And I see it's P4516U, right? So, you know, I could just type that in there, P4516U. You know, I'm going to type this in later. So we do have to get like a title here.
Does it have to be uncoated?
No, it just needs to be a Pantone code. I like using uncoated. You know, like uncoated is like not shiny, coated is shiny. Let me see here. You can choose a color book that best suits your vision.
Okay, because mine only shows pastels when I do uncoated, so.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I'm not sure why it's restricting your colors, but you know, whatever you got. Put a title here with an interesting font and the Pantone code. So this is P4516U, so I would be like grabbing my title here. And now I don't want to click on the square here because for some reason when I do that, it fills the whole square. I'm gonna click like out here and I'll type in crimson. And I'm going to change the color to something I can read on top of a red, which should be like a brighter color. And we'll put that on top. Maybe I'll make it bigger. Maybe I'll give it a different font, something appropriate. And then I need the Pantone code too. So I can, I'll just copy and paste that. And it was like P4516U. And it's too big right now, so let's shrink this one down. Oops. Let me grab it with my move tool. All right, so I've selected it. I'm going to hit the Control T. I'll put that down there. And that's the first color. And we're going to do that for all these colors here. They want you to do that for the homework as well, for our WGSN research. All right, so I'm going to just go through and click on the second rectangle here. The correct layer will highlight. I'll double click on that thumbnail. I'll go click a color here. You know, I can just do that. I can just go down the line with all my colors if I want to do the colors first. If I wanted a brown color, I can be brown. Okay, I can be blue. Somebody say violet sky. All right, here we go. Got a green here. I need a light blue maybe. And my last color, what don't I have yet? I don't have a, how about a purple? All right, so there are my colors.
How'd you get the Pantone color again?
So after I double click on the thumbnail, so first you want to make sure you're on the correct layer. So I'm hitting this eyeball to make sure I can see which square I'm on. Then I double click on this little vector square right here. And that brings up my color picker. So to find the Pantone code for this dark purple, I'll go to color library here. I'll click on this button. And then you want to choose a Pantone. I'm choosing CMYK colors because I'm printing. I mean, I expect to be printing, so we'll stick to coded or uncoded. Coded is kind of glossier, uncoded is more of a matte color. And I have 9515U is my Pantone code. So I could just grab this one. And my numbers were 95, I think it was 15.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Hit the check mark always when you're done making your edits, because Photoshop really wants to know what you're doing if you actually wanted to do that. Then again, so here's my rectangle here. If I want to know the Pantone color of that, I'll double click on this thumbnail. We'll go to my color library. It's right there, 5015U. So I can take this, copy that, put that right there. $50.15U. All right, so I'm not gonna, do I have time for that? I'm not gonna go through all of these, but just to let you know, that's how you do it. And then you're gonna save it, your Photoshop file first, and then you'll save your PDF. So I'm gonna just pretend like I already saved it. Well, I'll save my, after you're done, we're gonna save it into your Fashion Tech Photoshop. We'll call this one Pantone. We'll go Han Pantone. And then we need a PDF too, right? So we'll go Save As, and we'll change this to Photoshop PDF. I need to make sure I'm in the right folder here. And then smallest file size, of course. Make sure this is unchecked. This will destroy your homework. Compression, put this on high. Output, no conversion. It's just because, you know, we want to keep our files under 20 megs. It's just also considered unprofessional if you try to send somebody a file. It's over 20 megabytes. It's kind of a burden unless they ask you for it. All right, next assignment is this selection one. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it into my Fashion Tech folder, we'll go Photoshop document. And for selection, I'm going to call this last name. And we want to, it says, pack the suitcase. So I want you to put like 5 objects in the suitcase. And all we're going to do here is we're going to go to the internet and we're going to find an object. If you can make it easy for yourself if you say white background. So if you say like I'm trying to think of a water bottle white. Water bottle white background. If I go to images here, if you type in white background, you'll get an image that you can very easily cut out, right? So if I, or let me get one of these. Of course I got, this is lots of, okay, now I'm going to show you how to, you see these are watermarks here. They don't want you to do what I'm about to show you. So I'm going to hit copy image. We'll see if this works. We'll paste this image here. It's way too big, so I'm going to do a Control or Command T, and I'm going to just shrink it down. I don't need to hold the Shift key in Photoshop anymore. They changed that. And you want to pack your suitcase, right? So I'm going to, right here, this little tool here is brand new called the Object Selection Tool, and Photoshop has decided that maybe we can use this tool, and it automatically, look at that, it automatically selected it. I'm just going to go cut. We'll go edit, cut, or copy, right? And then edit, paste. Look at this. Grab my move tool here, and ta-da! Perfect.
How did you get rid of the white? Can you do that again?
Yeah, I'll do that again. All right. So what I did was I just grabbed this tool right here, Object Selection Tool, and I just dragged it around the object I want to select, and it says I can't find the object. So anyone, Michelle, what's going on? Why can't I do this? Let me give you a hint.
Is it locked?
Layers.
Okay, it's not locked, but I am on, which layer am I? I'm on the bottle layer, and I'm trying to cut out my kitty, and it says it can't find the bottle.
So you need
it can't find the kitty.
for the cat.
Yeah. I need to click on the cat layer. There you go. Now when I do this, boom, got my cat. We'll go copy, we'll go paste, and then we'll grab my move tool, and ta-da, I got a copy. And we can do a little bit of a tilt here, make sure the cat is in the right spot. You want to add a little bit of drop shadow to your object, go right ahead. Look, here's how you do drop shadow. Make sure you're on the right layer here. I'm going to double click right here in the empty space. You can also go down at the bottom of your layer panel. There's something called FX here. So make sure you're on the right layer. You can go to FX, you go to drop shadow. Watch right there. See, there's my drop shadow. Here's my size of my drop shadow, right? Here's the spread of my drop shadow. Here's the distance of my shadow. Let's put the distance over here. All right, little kitty cat, a little bit of drop shadow. Here's my water bottle. We'll go drop shadow there too. All right. And then I want you to find like 5 or 6 images. Just have fun with this. You know, just take anything white background. You could put like camel white background, and then you know, you could do a camel and put this image in here. We're gonna resize this right here, and we'll grab our object selection tool, and then we'll just copy and paste. And I want to put this camel behind my water bottle and kitty, right? So we'll just drag it behind them. Oops. Behind the kitty cat too. All right, so there's my camel. He's hiding. He's happy there's a water bottle. This camel's like, oh, you're not depending on me for water. Good job, humans. All right, a little bit of drop shadow. Why not? What else do we need in our suitcase? Pineapples? Of course. Who doesn't want pineapples, right? It's a universal symbol of simultaneously peace and destruction. Many cultures give pineapples, whoa, Amazon, give pineapples as a gift to welcome. And then, but also in American culture, the pineapple is a symbol of a hand grenade. It's not peaceful. All right, let's see.
Do we have to do the drop shadow?
I would like you to, I mean, you're going to have to do layer effects either this week or next week. You might as well get a head start on it. You do not have to, but you want to get, I wouldn't mind seeing it. We're going to copy, paste, hit V for my selection tool. Let's put a pineapple in here. Let's bring this pineapple up. You can even lay it on its side. You want to get fancy? Check this out. I want to make sure my pineapple looks like it's on the inside of my suitcase. You can grab this eraser tool right here. And look how big my brush is. My bracket keys, just like the paintbrush, you can change the size of your brush here. My edge hardness is on 0. Turn that to 100% here. Now I can just get rid of part of this, make it look like it's in the suitcase, you know. All right, this is my pineapple. Do I want to have drop shadow? Let's see. Will it benefit from it? Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks okay. All right. So once you have your suitcase packed with stuff, I don't care what you put in there, make sure I see them over here. I don't want to see like I don't want to see a square with like a blank cutout. I want you to copy and paste it. All right, once you have that, we're going to save this. We'll save our Photoshop file in the correct area. Yes, I want to replace it. And then I need to save a Photoshop PDF. And selection. Make sure our settings are correct. Smallest file size. Look, it's turning this on all the time. Uncheck preserve editing capabilities. This will make it difficult for you to upload it. Image quality on high. Output say no conversion. Save your PDF. All right, so I'm done with that. In that, let me show you the text one, and then I'll send you on your way. All right, so here's the text. Change the font. All we have to do is look at our layer panel here. Figure out which layer is your text layer, right? It's this one. I'll turn the eyeball on and off to identify I have the correct layer. You want to change this, just double click on this thumbnail right here. It will highlight everything. And then you can go through here and you can just hit the arrow key and scroll through different fonts. You know, change it to something new. Just a side note, I hate spring has sprung, but I use it in the example so that no one don't use this. Okay, I mean, you can, for this example, you're gonna have spring has sprung, but all right, I changed the font. Now I'm gonna copy and paste it over here, and it says change the font color to white. So let's select this whole thing right here. This is the color of our font. You just click on that and you can choose any color you want. If you want to go red, you can go red if you want it, but I want it white. Let's go to white here. Great, and it's too big, so I'm going to resize this. All right, let's add a drop shadow to this one. I'm going to drop it down here. We'll add a drop shadow, this FX down here, remember that, drop shadow? And then you can adjust how much drop shadow you want, or how far away it is, or what angle it's at. Outer glow, same thing. I'm going to grab this text up here. Oh, no. Outer glow on white. Let's change this to a black color. And then we'll add outer glow to it. So to add outer glow, which one is it? This one? All right, I'm going to make sure I have the right layer selected, and then I'm going to go add some outer glow. And here's the size of the outer glow. Again, it doesn't have to be super big. The spread doesn't have to be super spread either. And then the opacity doesn't have to be at 100%, but you know, you play around with it, anything you want, as long as there's something there. And the last one here is bend it. I'm going to take this and I'll show you how to bend your font. So all you got to do is when you double click on this thumbnail again, you highlight your text, you will see this option right here. It has a T with a little curve underneath it, and you can choose any one of these presets here, and it has like a little bending option. You can bend your text here. You can distort it horizontally or vertically, make it look like a fish. Go ahead, have fun with this. Bend it in some fashion. Later, if you really want to know, we can take our pen tool and we can draw a line, like a squiggly line, and then you can type along any path that you draw with the pen tool, which you'll see in some photographs in magazines. You'll have like a photograph and you'll have text kind of wrapping around somebody's head or around their bicycle wheel or something. You can do that here in Photoshop. But this is all you need to do for this. I just want to show you the layer effects panel. So we'll save this one. It's so easy. I'm not even going to save the Photoshop file. I'm just going to go straight to PDF because I'm running out of time. I do want you to save both though. I'm going to go to my Fashion Tech folder, go to my Photoshop document. Well, why not? I'll just save it anyway. We'll go Han. And I need to save the PDF, so I'll go Save As. And what I'm going to show you in a second here is when I'm making my combo PDF, how hard it is when you have lots of files. So I'm going to show you how to figure out which is the correct file. I'm going to save this as a PDF. And smallest file size, of course. Uncheck preserve editing capabilities, compression, image quality high, output say no conversion. All right. So I have those done here, and then I'm just working with my trend board. Let me go back to, whoops. Let me go back to the Spark presentation and see what's up with this homework. Future strategies. Go to WGSN, find future strategies. Choose future trends from the macro trend. 6 months out from now, add title, season, photos, no runway models, Pantone colors. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to future strategies. We'll go macro forecast. And these webinars here, oh, this is new. This just got added like a minute ago. Well, let's look. As white papers, webinars don't always have the best information. Let's see if we can click on this brand new one. Read the white paper. That sounds ominous. This is a full-on report. All right, this is a little bit complicated, these white papers. I'm just going to stick with macro forecasts, little macro forecast summaries. Not the webinar here, but big ideas or future innovations, future consumer, this stuff, right? So you click on it, and you'll get like a little summary of, oh, this is also white paper. You get like your little summaries of what it is. And I'd like you to choose a topic in here. Let's say you have healing as a habit. So we'll take that into our homework here. We could even type that in, just healing as a habit. So for our trend board, you know, we want to have a title, We want to have a season in summer 2023, right? We do need some images, and if you want to put a background color on this, let me show you this. I'm going to go to my layer panel here, and you'll see my background here. It's a white color. There's a padlock on here, but I can still access. If I double click on this empty space here, I can unlock it. And if I double click again, you have all these options for, you know, you can do a gradient background. You know, you can add different colors to your gradient. You can do, let's see, oops, Control-0. Oops, let's try this again. Let's add, you can add a gradient overlay. Here are the different gradient colors. You have all different kinds of options here. You can add just a solid color if you wanted. You could add a pattern as well if you wanted to make a pattern. We'll be doing that later. That looks crazy. All right, no pattern overlay. All right, so we're going to put some images down that we're going to read this article and try to figure out what imagery could best talk about these trends. Like we have a pill here. So if I just go over here and I type in this one has a shadow. Shadows are a little bit harder to do. Maybe I can find some pills here. Copy image. And then once you put your image in here, I don't want to see these square lines from your image. I do want you to do your best to cut these out. Right? Copy, paste. We could take this and make that disappear. You know, and then once you have these images, there's nothing that says you can't do something like this and get a little creative with it and start like layering and maybe creating something here. I'll select all three of these layers together, and you can copy more than one layer at a time. You know, we can flip these, flip horizontals. You know, create a hills making angel wings. I don't know. It's kind of dark. Okay, let's see. From these layers, let's say I like all these layers. I don't want to have so many layers. I can just right click and say merge these into one layer. You know, I could add like a little drop shadow to them. And this is basically what you're going to be doing for your mood board as well. So I want like, how many images do they want for this homework? It's like 5 images. Just add photos. You know, between 3 and 5 images, go for 5 if you can. And then we do need a color story as well for our, and then here, let me show you a trick. I think we can even find a color story. Usually in our in WGSN, they will show some color stories here. You can make your own color story, but you know, for the record, if you wanted to just go to your Pantone color story, and if you wanted to grab all of these, gosh, can I do that? In an Illustrator, you could just go like this. You just drag everything, and it selects everything. It's not doing that in Photoshop. So I would have to grab all these rectangles and my text, and I'll hit we'll hit copy. My trend board, hit paste. And if you wanted to do that, I'm not going to stop you. your trend board. But for your mood board, you're going to have to. I'm going to make you work much harder. This is just kind of practice cutting things out, practice copying and pasting, practice using your layer panel before we get to our project 3. Work out the kinks. If you have trouble with this, come and see me tomorrow. My office hours will work through it. Once you have this one saved, we'll go save as, and you have your Photoshop document first. You'll save that, and then oh, this is the PDF. It's fine. Save your Photoshop document first before you save your smallest file size PDF. Make sure this is unchecked. Compression, image quality on high, output say no conversion. Right? And then what you're going to do next week is you're going to combine all of these together. So Adobe Acrobat DC, right? Not Adobe Acrobat Reader. I'm going to go to Tools. We'll go to Combine Files, and I'm going to add all those PDF. Now, you see I have tons of files here, and I'm like, which ones were the ones I just did, right? Maybe I could just change it to like large icons and see. No, I can't see icons. So I'm going to go back to those here. And what you can do here is there is a date modified tab. If you don't see one, you right click up here and you'll get options of what things you can see in your folder. I do want date modified visible. So here's my date modified. If I click on this, it'll go from like most recent to oldest, or if I click it again, it'll start with oldest from January and then go down to most recent. It just depends how you want it arranged. I like the most recent on top. Here it says October 5th. That is today. So there's my text, there's my Pantone, there's my layers. Those three, boom. If I want to see what I got, I can click on the thumbnail button here in my combo. There's Pantone, there's text, there's layers. Where's my selection? I might have put that into a different, I think I had that in the wrong, I might have put it over here. Where did I put it? Somebody, anyone see where I put it? I think I put it over date modified, text, Pantone, layers. All right, I don't know where my kitty cat went. Maybe I didn't save it, but you'll put that one there, and then we put our trend work. Date modified. Nope. Oh, here's my selection. Here's my trend board. I put it in the wrong whatchamacallit, folder. All right, so here's my thumbnail view. I can say, you know what? I want my layers first, Pantone second, text. Let's put selection next, text. And here's my trend board. We'll hit combine. And once you hit combine here, it saves it as a binder one. We got to get rid of that. That's horrible. We'll go file. We'll go save as. Now we're going to go find our correct folder. We should be careful with this of where our fashion tech folder is. I think I'm using this one here. And I'll go PDF. And I'll go my last name. I'll go week 6. Go Photoshop 1, like PS1. And that's what that is what you upload to Blackboard. Now, that's just the homework for your project. You will be doing research. Next week, I do want you to have a paper done. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to research one of these WGSN topics. And really all you got to do is cut and paste this. And this is just an exercise in APA formatting. You're going to pick one of these macro trends from future strategies, from the macro forecast. Try to avoid these webinars and these white papers. And then when you find a good macro trend, focus on the details of one, and you're going to write me a paper. And let me show you. You will have a This will be due next week, right? Your paper will have a title page. That's 5 points. Okay. You need to have 250 words. That's 1 page. You know, if I were to grab this and grab this student's paper, and I go over here to review, and there is a word count button right here. It'll tell me how many words I have. 276 words. So she's good. I do want to see in-text citations. So you can copy and paste the whole thing as long as you put the correct citations here. You put the author's name inside parentheses, comma, and then the year. If there is not an author's name, you put the title of the article, or you can say WGSN Trends Team here. And your reference page, the second line is indented. All right. You can just Google APA-styled reference. There's EasyBib is a website you can go to, and you can just say, I want APA style. You type in the information, and it'll create a reference page for you. Microsoft Word here in the templates, when you say new, you have all these templates here. There's an APA paper. You can just type in APA paper here, and you could download the template. And they will have a reference template for you to fill in. They'll ask you some questions, so it'll automatically fill in your headers for you. Reference page is 5 points, right? And you also do need to include links to all the photographs that you used, right? So this page obviously will not be done by next week because you haven't done your mood board yet. But keep that in mind when you are researching your photographs. I do want you to keep like a notepad open, and every time you grab a picture, also grab the URL link of where you got the photograph. I do not want to see your reference page come back and have it say www.google.com or www.flickr.com. It should have like a / and then the username and then the actual image that you downloaded. All right, so I do want you to research a future global trend, and this is just interesting to do, I imagine, if you are interested in fashion. This is the same resource that a lot of your periodicals that a lot of you read in your spare time, fashion forecasting, trends stuff, in style stuff. They go here, they go WGSN, they go to this actual place, and they study this, and then this is their guide for the coming years of content creation. Is they're just making sure they're on trend, right? So go ahead, read up on any one of these topics here, the great indoors or something, and you're welcome to copy and paste. Just make sure I have correct in-text citations. Make sure you're at 250 words. Make sure you have you can probably just have even one reference if you're just using WGSN. This paper, in addition to your in-class work, will be due before we meet next week. And then if you want to get a head start on your project 3, after you figured out what your topic is, you can just start collecting high-res images that pertain to your topic. So if your topic was like healing or the great indoors, you know, you can go to, I would go to, try Unsplash first. And this way you won't have to deal with copyright stuff anymore. So search freely usable images, right? So, you know, healing, so herbs, right? You're gonna grab your pictures here. Okay, this one's paid, so be careful. After you click in your thing, the first group of pictures that comes up are for sale. But you want to get like some free ones over here. You go down to where the uns is, and you can get your pictures here, and you can copy it, and we can go over here and paste it in. And if you want to start cutting these out, you know, you grab your tool here, copy and paste, and then take this and turn that visibility layer off, and you can start making things, right?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I was looking, it's kind of unrelated, but I was looking at resubmitting the document, and I think you have to give me permission in order to do that. I'm not sure if I could just resubmit over what I already sent in on Blackboard.
Okay, for which one?
For project 2.
Okay, let me adjust that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I clearly have forgotten to open that up. Project 2. We'll edit this and we'll say all right. Excuse me. I've adjusted it. It should work now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna, if no one has any extra questions, I'm going to end class and answer any residual questions, any leftover questions, and then I have to run. I've got to go teach a class on campus. So thank you.
I was just wondering, where do we turn in our essay? Is that open yet? Like a place to turn it in?
No, the essay, just hold on to it, and then I'll have you guys just kind of share your screen next week to just verify that your paper's done. Right?
All right. Thank you.
That's a good question.
So there's a tab for in-class work and homework 6. So we're just turning homework in. For homework 6, we don't have to have, like, we're not combining that on to all of the extra add-ons we did for the in-class work, correct? Those are just 2 separate things.
Yeah, so if you wanted to do 2 PDFs, like one combo with the in-class stuff and your homework, you're welcome to do that. But if you wanted to combine it all into one big PDF, that's fine too. One of those do need to be combined, preferably the in-class work. Do a combo. I don't want to see 6 PDFs. I don't want to have to open 6 separate files when I'm grading this.
And your office hours is at 2 where though?
Okay, it's 218.
218.
218 is a group of offices. So when you come out of the elevator on the 2nd floor, you're going to walk down the hall. It's the first right into a hallway, then take your first right again, and you'll see a lounge on your left, and my office is on the right. And you can, if you get there, you can ask any teacher you see, you know, where's Mr.
What building
Hunt?
is that? You said 218?
Yeah, Rockwell.
Okay, Rockwell 218. Right.
Ask them where the, say, where's the Korean guy?
Mhm,
And they'll probably say, there's more than one Korean guy. Just say the funny one. Then they'll get it.
Thank you, Mr. Han. See you tomorrow.
There is a grumpy one out there. Don't go to his office. All right, yeah. Any more questions, anybody?
I do.
Mary? Yep,
So
go ahead.
when I was redoing everything, I reset my computer when I was redoing my project, just because everything was and when I went to go turn everything in, combine the files, and while I finished the project, I was doing the classwork too, but I guess I didn't save that, and it's not showing up on my Illustrator, the classwork. And so when I go on Blackboard and I go to classwork 5 to download the document and be able to work on it, it just gives me a gray screen. And I've reset I reset my computer and it said that gray screen still. And when I was on the call with you, I kept trying to do it, but nothing would load.
So you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So you're over here in the lab folder.
Yeah, I'm on lab on classwork 5, and to get it working again,
classwork 6.
No,
right
the
here.
one that was due today.
Oh, due today, yeah. This one?
Yeah.
Classwork 5? Yeah. No, it's downloading fine for me. I don't know what.
I'll send you a picture real quick on Slack of what it was saying for me. I don't know what was happening, because I tried to do it throughout this entire call. After we presented and everything, I just split my screen, and every time I would click on it, it would just do that. And like nothing, I would refresh my page. I went on my own personal hotspot. Like I went, there's 2 Wi-Fis in my dorm. Like I went on both of those.
Yeah, it
And
looks like I have no idea what's going on with your computer. You restarted it and everything?
yeah, like I restarted it. I cleared everything out.
Don't use Safari. Try a different browser.
Try Chrome.
Yeah.
Okay. I will get
Safari.
that in.
Yeah, Safari notoriously doesn't work with Blackboard very well.
Okay. Because it was working fine, like it's been working fine, I guess, with everything else that we've done so far, but and it like worked perfectly the first time when I tried doing it, but since it
Yeah,
didn't,
it's I don't know.
it's
Apple.
probably just my computer and messing up because I've been on it all day. So I will get that in as soon as possible, but I'm so sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question about about the situation I had on Sunday.
Okay.
The reason I didn't finish project 2. I sent you confirmation and like I have pictures too of because
Right. I got the documentation. You're fine.
When do you want me to turn in project 5 or project 2?
When you finish.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Like get it in. I don't know. What do you need? Like a week? Here's the thing. If the longer you take to do it, the more everything else piles up. Oh, she's gone. All right. Maya, Jensen. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording here. Yeah.
Can you confirm that the thing that I put in Slack works now? It should. I think it will.
Yeah, I see some jackets.
All right, sweet. Perfect.
I got it. Make sure it's on Blackboard too.
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
Blackboard. Yeah.
All right. I'm stopping the
Alrighty.
recording.
Thanks.